Luke Skywalker. From farm boy to galactic hero to the wise sage, there is no doubt that everyone's favorite Jedi has embarked on quite the journey. Now, we're all familiar with the hero's journey. Written by Joseph Campbell, the hero's journey depicts a monostructure in which heroes across all myths and stories follow, and Luke is certainly no exception. But what I found most curious about Luke isn't about how he managed to master the Force and become the great Jedi that defeated evil, but what really intrigued me was his journey to manhood. When George Lucas first wrote Star Wars, he intended it to portray the themes of hope and optimism, but underlying all this was an intention to create a film that could inspire the next generation of young men. Luke Skywalker in particular was created to be a role model for boys and to teach them what it meant to be a man. What it means to be a man isn't a new message. It has been told in numerous stories across time, in cinemas, in books, and so on. But how this message has been told and in what form has varied. In a pop culture that frequently glorifies hyper-masculine characteristics in men, while certainly fun to watch, may not necessarily be a very healthy portrayal. Luke Skywalker offers a refreshing take on what it means to be a man that rises above all others. When we first meet Luke, he is presented to us as a whiny and naive farm boy who is eager to explore the wider world, and it is this innocence that is quickly shattered following the death of Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru, and later on with the death of Ben Kenobi. Throughout Luke's entire journey, he's repeatedly faced not only with physical obstacles, but with emotional obstacles as well. And throughout all this, we still get a sense of emotional sensitivity and confidence, because for Luke's journey in the original trilogy, it is his coming-of-age story. And in a society that frequently urges men to repress their emotions, Luke Skywalker most certainly offers up an alternative non-hyper-masculine understanding of emotions in relation to what it means to be a man. Throughout Luke's journey, he is repeatedly faced with the choice between the light side and the dark side of the Force. We see this first when Darth Vader offers Luke to join him in Empire Strikes Back, and again at the height of his journey when he has to choose between the Emperor and saving his father in Return of the Jedi. It is no coincidence that the representation of the dark side in Star Wars is linked to the unhealthy notions of manhood, a type of manhood that romanticizes the ideas of violence and domination. The Sith, in this regard, embrace and embody these toxic traits. Both the Emperor and Darth Vader are trapped within this cycle, but there is an irony to this belief, that while the Sith may claim to be all-powerful, they are ultimately victims to the dark side. Darth Vader, despite all the power he possessed, was ultimately a slave. While he may strike fear in the heart of his enemies, he was in reality a broken man hiding behind a metal shell, a mere husk of his former self. This is true for Darth Maul as well, a Sith with a lust for power and domination that at the end of his journey, all that was left were sands of Tatooine. The dark side, for all its promises, provides neither salvation nor the path of what it means to be a man. Instead, it offers the illusion and false narrative of what manhood is supposed to be that ultimately leads its followers down a path of self-destruction. The light side, on the other hand, rejects such usages of the Force and ultimately chooses compassion over dominance and fear. Luke's mentor, both Master Yoda and Obi-Wan, offer wisdom in this regard. After all, if you define yourself by your power to take life, the desire to dominate, to possess, then you have nothing. For the old Jedi Masters, it is not the lust of power that constitutes a man, nor is it the physical strength that determines character. As Master Yoda states, luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. Instead, both Jedi Masters point to a more spiritual understanding of manhood, that strength is not measured by the appetite to do violence, but rather true strength comes from within. The light side of the Force offers a far more healthier interpretation of masculinity. Luke, however, takes it a step further. While Yoda and Obi-Wan do reject the notions of violence and domination, they are still tied to the dogmatic ways of the prequel Jedi Order. In many regards, both still advocate the suppression of emotions and the complete rejection of attachments. The rejection of attachments is thought of by both Jedi Masters as a necessity for Luke to overcome the dark side of the Force. This, in many ways, mirrors the masculine tendencies to repress emotions in our society, which is equally as self-destructive. This is where Luke's own personal journey comes in. Beyond the rejection of the dark side and the acceptance of the light, Luke brings in an additional dimension that moves beyond the masculine understandings of his mentors. Instead, he does not reject his attachments, but at the same time does not allow these attachments to consume him either. For Luke, his attachments do not make him weak. From a dreamy-eyed farm boy to the confident Jedi Knight, Luke holds on to the relationships he has built and embraces his emotions. In many ways, Luke presents an alternate understanding to masculinity that stands apart from the traditional. Luke as a character symbolizes what it truly means to be a man of compassion, a man that rejects domination and violence as a necessary part of manhood. A man that embraces his own emotions. That's all for today's video. Be sure to leave a thumbs up if you've enjoyed and hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment down below to let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video. As always, I am the Lost Acolyte,
and I have spoken.